The FBI is now warning of potential attacks on U.S. soil, but is also asking the U.S. people for help. Now, I'm going to break down what is being said by the FBI, what they're asking the American people to do, and what they are attempting to do with all these wars and escalations overseas. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, why the FBI is extremely concerned about attacks here inside the United States, especially in the first few months of Donald Trump being president. So again, we are just about 40 days away from the inauguration day, which means there's going to be some major changes and possible threats hitting our shores very soon. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. What if I told you that there is a serious threat that is facing the United States, and the FBI and Homeland Security don't have a lot of answers? Well, here's what's going on. This article right here says Chinese government poses broad and unrelenting threat to U.S. critical infrastructure. This is according to Christopher Wray. It says partnerships, joint operations, and private sector vigilance can help us fight back. What you need to keep in mind is that the FBI is asking the American people, if you see something, say something. If something seems off, you need to let law enforcement know so they can run it up the chain of command. But listen to what Christopher Wray had to say. Listen to this right here. This is troubling.
Would you say that there's multiple blinking red lights out there?
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
So he says he sees blinking lights everywhere he turns. It doesn't matter what it is. If it has to do with a war between Russia and Ukraine, that's a flashing red light. If it's the war between Iran and Israel, keep in mind the United States is backing Israel. Well, that's another blinking red light. If you look at the threats from China into the United States, for instance, all the cyber attacks we've seen lately, yeah, that's troubling. But I want to play another clip for you. Look at this one right here.
FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress a major China cyber attack would prove much more damaging.
China's hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities if and when China decides the time has come to strike.
So if and when China decides the time has come to strike. Now, here's where things get serious. Because right now, everyone is looking at the FBI. Everyone's looking at all the conflicts and tensions around the world. But look at this. This came out just yesterday. This is from Senator Chuck Grassley. He says, Grassley rips Wray's failed leadership at the FBI with 11 pages of examples of blistering no confidence letter. He says, it's time for you and your deputy to move on to the next chapter in your lives. Now, this is the reason why. Because of what we are currently facing. We have this right here. The FBI issues a statement as mystery drone sightings reach New York. They're in Florida, they're in New Jersey, they're in Maryland, they're everywhere. That's a huge concern. Now, I'm going to read you their statement and then I want to explain some more issues, but it all comes down to Taiwan and China. I'll explain more on that in a moment. Right here it says, the FBI says, we understand the concern and we are doing all we can to figure out what's going on. We truly don't have much information to provide at the moment. Keep in mind, these drones, okay? These drones right here are just flying overhead and they are scaring communities. But remember when that Chinese spy balloon flew over the United States and we shot it down off the coast of North Carolina? Yeah, that's concerning because again, we knew what could potentially be there. We knew what the threat was, but then we waited and waited and waited, let it cross the entire U.S. Why would we do such a thing? Okay, I'm going to play you a clip in a moment, but look at this. It says Iranian cyber actors access critical infrastructure networks. This one says senators fume over response to disturbing and widespread Chinese hack of U.S. telecoms. But it comes down to what Xi Jinping said last year on Christmas. This is the real issue right here. The Chinese leader Xi Jinping, he warned President Biden during a summit that Beijing will reunify Taiwan with mainland China. Keep in mind what Christopher Wray just said. Okay, in that video that I just showed you. Again, that was like a handful of months ago, but the concern is still real. China is just waiting. But what are they waiting for? Well, according to reports, they're potentially waiting for a specific date. That is sometime in 2027. But, okay, and here's the big issue. China is getting into all of our infrastructure. Okay, let me show you this right here. It says China is able to spy on U.S. with intelligence gathering devices on seaport cranes. I did a video just the other day talking about all those Ring cameras, all those Arlo cameras, the cameras for like Blink and Wise. I talked about how China, or those cameras, use Chinese technology. So people in China could actually see what those cameras see. They could pick up as a listening device what you are saying inside your home. So really, even though your home should be 100% safe, you actually might not be, because China could be listening. But I want to play this clip for you. Listen to this.
So as we sit here, while important budget discussions are underway, I will note that this is a time to be keeping ahead of the threat by investing in our capabilities rather than cutting them. We need to ensure that we sustain and build on the gains that we've made that have enabled us to take actions like the Volt Typhoon operation I just mentioned. The budgets that emerge from discussions underway now will dictate what kind of resources we have ready in 2027, a year that, as this committee knows all too well, the CCP has circled on its calendar. And that year will be on us before you know it. As I've described, the PRC is already, today, putting their pieces in place.
Okay. So right there, he is saying that they're already inside of our U.S. borders. Okay? They are there to silence, coerce, and potentially threaten U.S. citizens and residents. Here's the reason why this is an issue. The United States has been backing Ukraine, sending military equipment. We've been sending ammunition, funding to Ukraine. Right now, there is a discussion happening within Congress that by December 20th, okay, just 10 days from now, there has to be a government funding bill. The problem is lawmakers don't want to sign it. They want to have a pretty much extend it. Okay, they want to extend this bill back into like January, February, potentially March, and let President Biden or let President Trump at that point go and negotiate it. Here's the issue. That bill that they're discussing is talking about raises to certain programs and raises to certain to agencies and all that. Here's the issue. The United States has massive amounts of debt. That right now, the interest payments alone on our debt of $36 trillion is more than we pay to our National Defense Authorization Act. Okay? That's a huge issue when we are paying more in interest payments than we are to our defense. At the same time, the FBI has been saying this for several months, years really, that there's a threat in China. And if we don't pretty much eliminate the threat here on U.S. soil, there will be attacks. There will be potential cyber attacks. Most likely not a physical attack, but a cyber attack will likely happen. Because keep in mind, Xi Jinping has already said that they are going to reunify Taiwan with mainland China. Experts believe it's going to happen anytime between 2027 and 2028. That's just a few years away, 2 to 3 years away. The concern is that the United States has been helping all these other countries. We're at war. That we've been helping all these other countries while China is sitting back, pretty much being, not even helping any countries. They say some things here and there. They provide support like that. But as far as sending funding and missiles and troops, they're not doing it. The United States has had a recruiting crisis for many years. We have less military personnel than we've ever had in our history. Okay? Ever had in our history. We are considering making sure that women are enrolled in the draft as well, in selective service. Men are now automatically enrolled. Women are supposed to enroll. But what if we force women to? 18 years of age and older, you have to enroll in selective service because we don't have enough military personnel. Or we go and get people that are overweight, that have health issues. Okay? We were changing the policies. We're changing the rule books. And we're doing this as we go. The concern is that China has been setting themselves up for success for several years, where the United States is pushing ourselves into wars with Israel against Iran, against Lebanon, against Hamas in Gaza. We're putting ourselves alongside Ukraine to fight against Russia and now North Korean soldiers. That's the concern. So right now, and this is what the FBI has been saying for years, and many intelligence officers have been saying as well, is that the United States is a threat. Okay? We are a threat. But now the threat is there could be attacks on U.S. soil, and they could happen at a moment's notice. And really it's going to come to our infrastructure, our roads, our water supply, our internet, our telecommunications. That's where it's going to happen. So I just wanted to share this with you because right now the threat in the United States is real, and some say it's imminent. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.